Croft's Fractured Mind by Bonnie Gerstenlauer. The air in the crisis room was stale with the scent of coffee and desperation. Detective Miles Corbin stared at a digital clock on the wall. 03:17:52. 3 hours until a thermobaric bomb incinerates 3 blocks of downtown. Detective Jane Harper, his partner, shook her head. And our only lead is lying in a coma 2 floors below. Frustration evident in her voice. Julian Croft wasn't a terrorist. He was a savant, an architect whose designs were hailed as genius, but whose mind was a fragile, fractured masterpiece. The terrorist cell that had kidnapped him had forced him to design and hide 2 bombs, then disposed of him, leaving him with a traumatic brain injury. He was their living insurance policy, a lockbox with no key. The technology is experimental, Miles, Dr. Eris Thorne warned, his face illuminated by the glow of a brain activity monitor. We call it the Eidolon. It translates the subject's neural pathways into a navigable virtual space. You go into his mind, but his mind is a hostile environment. If his subconscious rejects you, the psychic feedback could kill you both. Corbin just nodded, strapping himself into the chair beside Croft's bed. The alternative is 10,000 body bags. Let's get on with it. Jane squeezed his shoulder. Be careful in there. You're needed out here, too. Looking into her eyes, he replied, I've got this. Then the world dissolved in a flash of white noise. When Corbin opened his eyes, he was standing on a street of polished obsidian, under a sky of impossible perfect blue. This was Julian's mind. A sprawling, silent metropolis. Towers of glass and chrome pierced the static clouds. Every angle perfect, every surface gleaming. There were no people, no cars, no sound, but the faint, ambient hum of a flawlessly running machine. It was beautiful, and also deeply unsettling. He spent what felt like hours searching logical places. He found Croft's office, a vast space where blueprints for impossible buildings floated in the air. He found Croft's childhood home, recreated with impossible, painful precision. He touched the home's walls. This is wild. It feels so real, he thought. Every clue he found led to a dead end. A looping memory that went nowhere. The city was a fortress, designed to keep secrets in and intruders out. Then he saw it. In the center of a perfect city, an anomaly. A skyscraper that defied the pristine logic of everything around it. It was a monolithic slab of flat black material that seemed to absorb the light. It had no windows, no doors, no seams. It was a void in the shape of a building. A psychic warning from the architect himself. Corbin knew instantly. Julian and the bomb's location were in there. He tried to approach, but the city fought back. The street beneath him buckled, reforming into a chasm. When he tried to find another route, the cityscape shifted, entire blocks rearranging themselves to keep him away. Damn it, Corbin cursed. This wasn't just a locked structure. It was Croft's mind behaving like an immune system, identifying him as a virus, walling off an infected area. He forced an emergency extraction, gasping back into the sterile reality of the hospital bedroom. I can't get in, he rasped to Eris. It's locked down. The trauma is walled off. Then you need a key, Eris replied. Something from the real world. We need to find a reason for his trauma. With the clock now under 2 hours, the team did a frantic deep dive into Julian's life. Corbin found it in yesterday's news article. The Viridian Tower collapses. A luxury apartment building collapses after terrorists forced its architect to design a bomb, killing 200 people, including a family with a 6-year-old girl. Julian was cleared of criminal negligence, but his career and mind haven't recovered. Corbin looked at the photo in the article, the twisted steel and dust-caked rescue workers, the face of a grieving father. He had his key. He went back in. The mindscape was different now. The perfect blue sky was a bruised purple, shot through with veins of lightning. A cold rain fell on the obsidian streets. The city knew he was coming for its deepest secret. He didn't try to force his way to the skyscraper. He walked the streets, letting the hostile environment wash over him, focusing on the Viridian Tower. He pictured the faces of the victims. He spoke their names aloud into the humming silence. The city shuddered. The tower flickered. He was at its base now. A sign appeared, a warning, pulsating with a frantic, angry energy. "This section is off limits."
"I know what's in there, Julian,"
Corbin said, his voice steady.
"I know what you're protecting. You don't have to hold it alone anymore."
The sign's light wavered, distorted, and then died. With a groan that sounded like grinding stone, a single crack appeared in the black facade. A doorway. Corbin stepped through into the chaos. He was no longer in the silent city, but in a maelstrom of dust, screaming, and the groaning shriek of collapsing metal. It was a memory, a psychic wound, playing on a torturous, endless loop. He saw the bodies in the rubble, saw the terrified faces of people trapped, and in the center of it all was Julian Croft, on his knees, hands covered in dust and blood, staring at a small broken doll lying in the wreckage. This was Julian's hell, and he had locked himself inside it. Corbin fought his way through the swirling debris of memory.
"Julian! Julian!" he shouted. "The other bomb! Where is the second bomb?"
Croft didn't look at him. His eyes were fixed on the doll. "It's my fault," he whispered, the words lost in the roar. "I thought I could stop it. It's all my fault."
"You can't change this,"
Corbin yelled, grabbing him by the shoulders.
"But you can stop it from happening again. Where is it?"
The architect's phantom form finally looked at him, his eyes filled with an agony so profound it was almost physical. "Under the financial building," he choked out. "The boiler room. The access code. The bastards picked my daughter's birthday. It's 08-14. The moment the numbers left his lips, the memory imploded. A wave of pure psychic force slammed into Corbin, and he was violently ejected, his own scream mixing with the fading echoes in his head. He woke up, shouting the address and the code.
08-14.
His team scrambled, relaying the information. Corbin lay back, his body trembling, his mind scarred by the echo of Croft's pain. He watched the clock tick down to its final minutes, his heart pounding until a radio crackled to life. "Bomb disarmed. I repeat, bomb is disarmed." A wave of relief washed over the room, but Corbin's eyes drifted to Julian Croft. The man was still comatose, but the tense, jagged lines on his forehead were smoothing out, his frown relaxing. The storm inside was over. By forcing his way into the section that was off limits, Corbin hadn't just found a bomb. He had opened a door for a man who had long since lost the key. He saved the city, but he had also given Julian Croft peace. That was Julian Croft's Fractured Mind by Bonnie Gerstenlauer off of Reedsy.com. My name is Junnis of Buggus, and I read short stories like this. I also plan to expand onto other fun things as well as the channel grows. If there's something you'd like for me to read, please leave it in a comment. If you stayed this long, perhaps consider following, as it would be greatly appreciated. I hope to see you on the next one, and thanks for listening.